Hello. How's it going, everybody? Hello, hello. It's a bit later today. Just slightly. I was doing something, but here we are. Hope you're having a great Sunday so far. AOA how's it going? There we go. My hair is a bit, yeah. It's doing hair things, I guess. Oh well. It's fine. We hope you guys having a great day. We're probably gonna, I don't know how much reading we'll be doing today. We'll see how we can get. And then afterwards, I actually don't know what we're going to be doing today after the book. Maybe some maybe some Genshin. No, maybe not Genshin. Maybe some Honkai. Maybe we'll start with Spyro 3. Is a new book today? No, it's still the same. As you can also see over there in the corner, still it's the same book. Hi, Crystal. How are you doing? One second. There you go. Oh, hope you're doing well, Crystal. But yeah, we might start with Spyro 3 today then, huh? We gotta get Spyro 3 done before Silk Song on Thursday. Oh, Crystal. What's going on, huh? What's going on? Huh. That's cheaper than I thought. Apparently we know the price now for Silk Song because so far we haven't really had a price on it as well. But it's gonna be like 20. Just $20. I mean, y'all know I'm gonna be grabbing that on release. I gotta buy it. Definitely, I have to buy it. Okay. So yeah, Thursday is definitely gonna be Silksong, hopefully. Yeah, we're probably gonna do Spyro today after the book. I wanna get Spyro 3 done. And I mean, Spyro 3 is just the best one out of them in my opinion as well, so. Oh, my neck. Okay. All right. Yeah, I had to do something in Warframe where I only had like a couple of hours left, and it got really close to the time for the stream today. Yeah, let's check it real quick. Uh, 26, 27, 28, and then it's a new chapter, a new act. We could probably do to part 30, like read part 30 today, and then yeah, that's a good like 40 pages. That sounds about right. All right, we'll do that. I think that's a good way, which actually reminds me as well. Let me just do that right now. I have not. I don't think I have uploaded last week yet. What's the last thing I uploaded? Let me check. Oh, I never made it public, huh? Did I editor? Okay. I totally forgot to make the last one public. There we go. Part 5. Not part 4. But I totally forgot to upload last week, part 5. Imagine gatekeeping your own content. I just forgot. I forgore. Wait, muted audio on this one? What the heck? Nah, did they actually claim a fucking song from Spyro? I just... What? Let me appeal audio. Okay. Okay, give me a second. What? All right. That's gotta be. Reading the Eaters Part 5. Private. Start export. There we go. Well, that's going. You bet that. Damn, we have 46 videos on the channel now, guys. I mean, a lot of them just have no views. But we have 46 videos and 9 subs on the channel. Goddamn. Yes. The bots are already on their way today. The bots, they're coming. Maybe they want to suck. Right. I still feel like my ad stuff is a bit too much. Let me just quickly check something. No. There. Okay. I can't change anything, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay. Okay. Well then, you guys ready? I think we're just gonna do the book for today already. Unless there's anything you guys want to talk about. Let's make a burst so expensive. It costs more than a Pyronado. I mean, always every character, no matter what, like their strength, the burst cost can be so random sometimes. I don't know. I thought both of them cost 80, I mean. Doesn't Xiangling Pyronado cost 80? Yeah. Miko's Nani. Keep in mind though. Genshin Yai Miko. I think it's a constellation she has actually, and not like a base kit thing. Let me check something. Yeah, I already know. It's a good chunk of damage, to be fair, but it's definitely not as.
You can't put.
What the hell? Weird ads just start playing on that sign. Okay. That's a good chunk with the build, with a decent build. Like mine does about like 50-60k per tick. Yeah, her C1 gives you 8 energy for every lightning strike on your burst, so you can get up to 3 lightning strikes. That's 24 energy you just get back out of the 90. So if you play it correctly, technically you only have a 64 energy burst. And then being double electro, like if you run double electro, you have the extra particles from the double electro resonance and stuff. I feel like she was also made to be somewhat maybe played with Raiden, and Raiden likes having characters with a high burst cost, I think, in her team as well. Totem. Well, it does, but it also gives you your totems back. Like your cooldown, your charges are instantly refreshed for every lightning strike you do, and the lightning strikes are based on how many totems you have on your field. So if you could just skill, burst, skill. Keep that in mind. It completely recharges your skill for every lightning strike. You get extra, which is based on how many totems you have on field from your skill. Well, yeah, Wes, that's the optimal thing. I was just saying, like, technically you can do skill, 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 burst, skill, 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 because you get your skills back. Not saying I do that, I'm just saying you could technically do that. I wait usually a bit as well. I've played her for a good while. I just saw here the first banner she ever released on, which is where I actually got her, was in February and March 2022. And then I know I got her C1 on a rerun. Damn. I've had her for like 3 years. God damn. Better burst. I mean, as far as I can tell, or what people are saying, you might only be able to grab one constellation per character, so you can't just go, oh, I just gonna grab like 4 Ayaka cons or something, or 2 whatever. Like, Yai C1 is pretty good for energy economy, that's for sure. C2 is more damage. I'm definitely going to grab one because I already have her C1 and I kind of want her C2 for a bit more damage. But I actually still don't know what other characters I might be grabbing. Maybe I'll grab like a Keqing. I don't know. We'll see. How many can you get? As far as we know, it's 4 per year. We just have to wait to see more about it. We don't have too many infos on it yet. Hi Angel, how you doing? I don't know yet if we can grab the same character multiple times or if it's just one character per cycle, I guess. Like if every year it's just a cycle, but apparently we can grab like 4 a year with the con stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I think Yai is going to be the first one I grab. I don't think Yoimiya's cons are really that worth it. You're reading a book? Ooh, why not? Let me see what Yoimiya's C1 was again. The Aurora's Blaze created by her burst lasts for an extra 4 seconds. Additionally, when an opponent affected by Aurora's Blaze is defeated within its duration, Yoimiya's attack is increased. I barely use her burst. I should use it more, especially having the weapon that I have. Like, I should always stop my rotation with Yoimiya burst, then do the setup with the other characters, and then Yoimiya damage to get like the maximum value out of her. The C2 Zhongli. I mean, that would be too broken anyway. Her C2 seems pretty nice, actually. When Yoimiya's pyro damage scores a crit, Yoimiya will gain pyro damage bonus. Yeah, maybe I'll grab a Yoimiya Khan. Skirk is not going to be on there, Angel. It's every character before Fontaine. Apart from Archons, Kazuha, Yelan, and Alhaitham. It's a way for older characters to have like a way to make your older characters stronger. It's not gonna be giving you like the newest stuff. That would be too broken and they would lose out on a lot of money because they still need to sell those reruns. Yeah, it's every character that was released before Fontaine came out. So everything apart from the Archons and yeah, for some reason Kazuha, Yelan, and Alhaitham. So I'm probably gonna grab a Yai Khan. I'm probably gonna grab a Yoimiya Khan. Maybe a Keqing. I think I'm gonna get I'd be a Keqing C3 then. Let me check what was it, burst level or skill level for her C3. It's burst level. Okay, that's not too bad. Her C4 is pretty decent as well. C5 is skill level. When initiating a normal attack, Keqing gains electro damage bonus. Each triggered considered independent entities. Samara characters will be there too. Yeah. Apart from Alhaitham. And Nahida. Like Sino, Nilou, Wanderer. Dia, Tighnari. Yeah. Good Tighnari. Yeah, I already have a C2. I don't have Wanderer either, and I don't have Nilou or Sino. Maybe if I get really lucky, after I pull Lauma, I might start pulling on the Chronicle banner for Nilou. And if I can get Nilou, I might go for a Nilou Constellation as well then from that. But I definitely need, I have to get super lucky. Lauma the new Dendro Queen. She's gonna be good for a lot of Dendro teams, especially Nilou. For extra cons each year, yeah. From what we understand so far. Yeah, Lauma is gonna be really good for Nilou Bloom teams. And I guess like any kind of Bloom, like Hyper Blooms and Burgeons are probably gonna be really good with Lauma as well. Plus, yeah, I might just build my Lauma for DPS herself instead of being like more of a supportive role in those teams. But yeah, like she's gonna be pretty strong, I think. But I will definitely be pulling her, and if I can get Nilou as well, that'd be nice, because yeah, Nilou Lauma just works super well together. And then I can also get Nilou C1. from the thingy. What is Needle C1? Luminous illusion damage is increased, tranquility's or duration is extended. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, no, your C1 is pretty decent. Okay. Nice. What is Kokomi C1? Now that I have Kokomi as well, I could look at that maybe. While donning the ceremonial garment created by her burst, the final normal attack in Kokomi's combo will unleash a swimming fish to deal 30% of her max HP as hydro damage. This damage is not considered normal attack damage. Okay, so it's just a bigger damage hit at the end of the combo. Okay. I don't know how to feel about that. Obviously, I already have Mona C6. Mona doesn't matter. Albedo C1, I think, was kind of useless. Oh, he gets some energy when his skill triggers. I mean, I barely use his burst anyway, and you don't have that many energy issues with him. Klee C1? What was Klee C1? Not that I'm gonna be start using Klee, but yeah. Attack and skills have a certain chance to summon sparks that bombard opponents, dealing damage equal to 120%. I don't know, a singles 5-star from Leah. Attacks and skills have a certain chance to summon sparks that bombard opponents, dealing damage equal to 100%. Okay. That seems alright, I guess. C1 Ayaka and C1 Hu Tao. Yeah, I don't have either of them. So I'm not going to. I think I have Chi-Chi C2. I have Keqing C2. I don't have Xiao, I don't have Hu Tao. I don't have Shenhe. I don't have Baizhu. It would be funny if they added Shenyun in there, but Shenyun came out later. But you know, grabbing that C4 Shenyun. That would be funny, but I got Yelan. I don't, and I'm not going to pull for her. She's gonna rerun with Flint's second half, but yeah, I'm good. Yelan is also not on there, Angel. It's Yelan, Kazuha, and Alhaitham are not on it. Is it? Yeah, they showed it on the stream. Again, it's every character that has been released before 4.0, apart from the Archons, Yelan, Kazuha, and Alhaitham. So it's all the standard banner characters except Mizuki, Klee, Albedo, Eula, Ayaka, Yoimiya, Kokomi, Ito, Yae, Ayato, Sino, Nilou, Wanderer. because for Inazuma, obviously Mizuki and Chiori, even though they are Inazuma characters, they've been released after 4.0, so those are not in there. Xianyun has been released after 4.0, that's why she's not in there. Baizhu, Shenhe, Hu Tao Xiao, Ganyu, they're all in there. Chi Chi Kotung. Mizuki and Chiori came out after 4.0, that's why they're not. Even though Mizuki is on the stand-up banner. And then obviously, like, the Fontaine characters and the Natlan characters are not on there either. Tartag is in there, obviously, as well. But yeah, those are the characters that we'll be able to choose from. I'm sure that maybe throughout the time, we'll be getting like some of the other characters added in as well, but right now it's only those, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna grab one Yai, I'm gonna grab a Yoimiya, and then I'll see for the rest. If I could technically grab Mona, maybe I'll just do that just so I can get one of these Master Stella Fortuna to level up a character to level 95. Just to be funny about that. Because otherwise it's very unlikely that I'll ever get these items. Unless I lose more 50-50s to Mona. We'll see. All right. Let's start with the book for today then. Yeah, there. Yeah. All right. Top 26. Something rotten in Denmark. We're in the present day. There you go. They call it mind eating. They look at me as a monstrous thing, a feaster of brains, something akin to the myriad flesh eating and blood drinking monsters of human legend. My own family saw me as heinous. But I know the truth now. This is not eating. This is sharing. This is communion. What I do is the ultimate experience of divinity. The merging of two souls into a single body. Partaking and elevating of life into new transcendent forms. This is a miracle. I am a miracle. Bless me, Father, for I am divine. By Killock Ravenscar's private journal. I still don't know how to feel about the whole communion thing and Killock as a whole. Very culty, very yikes. Me no likey. Alright. Say something, Devon said into the silence that followed her story. The wind picked up, scattering leaves and twigs, rattling the trees. Please. Say what? Hester retorted, arms curled around herself. Then I feel angry? Of course I do. Everything was bullshit and you are here to get us killed? That fiasco on the train, losing my gun, my purse, that was fake too, wasn't it? Can't believe you of all people would work with knights. I'm not working with them through choice. Didn't you hear what I said? I'm exploiting them because I must. And I'm not trying to get everyone killed. I only need redemption for Kai. Ravenscars are free to leave before the knights descend. I would have given you warning. Free to leave? Are you serious? Hester's laughter sounded hysterical. How generous of you to let us go on the run. When was this all going to come out then? Did you think about our lives at all when you set out this plan? Above them, the sky was beginning to darken as clouds gathered. Another bout of snow or sleet waiting to drop. Did you think about the 30-odd people from your own family who died in Killock's pointless coup? Devon shot back, and the other woman recoiled as if slapped. What is there to save? Look at this household. Weston hasn't been left behind. You've only transplanted him to a new body, a new house. Same bullshit, same bastard. Now with a fucking cult growing up around him. How does that justify the reasoning behind betraying us? You didn't know the situation here before making this decision. Ravenscars are a family like any other. I assumed you'd be just as bad as the book eaters I left behind, Devon said, shielding her eyes against the persistent winter wind. When in fact, this is worse. Oh, piss off! Who gave you the right to pass judgment when you've known us for barely 2 days? I'm not wrong though, am I? Killock has created a gathering of monsters who steal locals to feed on their twisted communion. Tell me that isn't worse than your average family setup. She took a step forward, dried foliage cracking beneath her still bare feet. Be real, Hez. It's only a matter of time before someone would have descended. If not me and the knights, if not the other families, then human policemen. Killock was fucked the moment he ate his patriarch and lost himself to feeding. On some level, you must know this. Does that make your choice any more ethical? Hester swung the empty gun up between them like a club. What happens if I get to tell my brother? Will you stop me? Kill me? Like you killed Matley? I should just hand you in. You're too smart for that, Devon said with a calmness she didn't feel, and scraped wind-blown hair out of her eyes. He'd kill all three of us. Me for my lies, you for bringing me here, by telling you this. I've made your situation impossible. Hester gripped the gun so tightly that it seemed she might dent it. Then why the hell did you bother talking to me? Because you're trapped, as I was once trapped. And I want... The truth unfolded, even as she said it out loud. For you to come with me and Kai. When we go, we'll take all available redemption. We'll flee. We'll get somewhere safe. Together. What? Hester said. That's beyond absurd. Why? Aren't you unhappy? Aren't you regretting the coup? Wishing you could leave? All those things you told me earlier? It's absurd because it isn't possible, Hester hissed, furious, and Devon heard in that denial an echo of her own objections to Jaro so long ago. I can't even. It's so... God's sakes! She turned away and strode back toward the house through the woodland. Face stormy and dark like the sky above them, rifle held tight to her chest. Devon jogged after, body angled awkwardly to face the other woman. Hess, answer me this. Why do you think so few women run away? Why do you think nothing really changes for book eaters century after century? How should I bloody know? We lack imagination, Devon said, relentless. Even if we use Even if we use dictaphones and scribes, we'd never be able to write books the way humans can. We struggle to innovate, are barely able to adapt, and end up stuck in our traditions. Reading the same books generation after generation, thinking along the same rigid lines. Creativity is our world, and yet we aren't creative. I really don't care. Listen, Devon shouted, stepping in front of her. Just let me finish, all right? Our childhood books always ended in marriage and children. Women are taught not to envision life beyond those bounds, and men are taught to enforce those bounds. We grow up in a cultivated darkness and don't even realize we're blind. Hester stood in that stretch of green, hands balled into fists and gaze averted, but she'd stopped trying to walk away, at least for now. Should have run sooner, Devon said, voice cracking a little. But I didn't. No one really stopped me. My lack of imagination, the same one that all eaters suffer from. I could not imagine a better or different future. Yes. Because I could not imagine it, I assumed it didn't exist. My throat was lumping up. I was wrong. Life can be different. You're wrong too. That's why I think you should consider coming with me. Try something different. I tried something different with Killock already, and look how that turned out, Hester retorted. Isn't that what you are just lecturing me about? Our inability to be unlike other families? What kind of bloody-minded arrogance makes you think you'd do any better than him? Because I'm not a patriarch, and I do not want to set up a manor, Devon said. Killock wanted the same things most eater men want, a household of his own to run. He didn't understand that the whole system doesn't work, that you have to leave it all behind and do things completely differently. The sleet began to beat down. The storm had arrived. Both of them ignored it, immune to the chill and indifferent to the damp. There is no different way of life, Hester said sullenly. The families were right about mind eaters anyway. We can't live without them. Bullshit, Devon said. You conquered your hunger. Kai did too. Neither of you ever went out feeding. Killock's sins are his own. The hunger is just his scapegoat. He wants you to believe his lies so that you'll excuse his behavior. Hester paused, face and clothes streaked by a half-frozen rain. Even if that's true, you're asking me to believe in a tomorrow that you tell me I can't imagine? To look forward toward a future that I apparently cannot see or afford the cost to earn? Please, just stop. I need space. I need you to go away. Devon sighed and stepped aside. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. Everyone's always sorry, the other woman said again with renewed vehemence. She stalked toward the house, gun still cradled in her arms. Devon waited a discreet moment of time for Hester to disappear into Traquair, allowing the thundering beat of her heart to calm down, then followed more slowly. She walked alone in the mid-afternoon sleet, minding neither the cold nor the wet. Forest at her back and manor growing larger in her field of vision. The white painted exterior looked like glistening bone in this frozen rain. Foolish, she talked to Hester as she had done. Taking such a risk was highly unlike her usual self. Yet the alternative would have been not to involve Hester at all, to simply leave quietly with Kai. That in turn would mean leaving Hester to potentially get caught up in the night's crossfire. Not acceptable. The strength of that reaction surprised her. At some point, Hester's survival had begun to factor in the continuous equations Devon ran inside her head for how to balance the needs of those around her. Did that mean the connection between them was strong, or just an indicament of her loneliness? Grasping with a wild desperation at the only semblance of friendship she'd encountered since Jaro had left. Too late to regret anything she'd said. The Ravenscar woman would either come with her or not. In the meantime, more practical considerations weighed on her mind. For a start, there was the question of redemption, that holy grail for which she'd quested all those months and years. Gaining access to the actual recipe was likely off the table, given that the only person who'd apparently known it was now a specter inside of Killock's brain, and Killock himself seemed unlikely to cough it up. Devon had already learned from her months with Ramsay that the Ravenscars made their drug according to the delivery schedule of chemical ships. Materials arrived in summer, early production took place in fall, and then finishing and storage in winter. Spring was a wet rest season. That meant they tended to have stores of redemption at any given time, since they were still producing it. Then it was a given they'd have supplies stored somewhere. Besides, Hester and a couple of her brothers still needed the stuff, and Killock presumably took it between his ceremonial victims. The difficulty was finding where it was stored and being able. Oh, goddamn. Being able to take any before Ramsay arrived. Her brother had not given her much time. She skirted the maze and climbed the steps up to Traquair's north side, entering through the kitchen. Mani, to her surprise, was waiting for her inside, seated alone at a cloth-draped dining table. He rose as she entered, bracing himself on chair and stick. Afternoon, Miss Fairweather. Good shooting session. Turns out I'm a terrible shot, Devon said. Where's my son? Settled in his room. I gave him the tour and he picked a place to his liking. Mani offered a wary smile. Thought I'd come and find you to spare the effort of searching up and down for us. That's very kind, Devon said, head still whirling. Please, do lead on. Mani nodded. He got up and hobbled out of the kitchen and into the corridor. And then up a set of stairs she had not yet seen, toward the newer wing of the house. New in this case meant it had been built in the 1700s instead of the 1200s like the rest of Traquair. A fact that Devon found amusing when Mani explained it to her. Fairweather Manor had seemed impossibly old when she was young, but this place had a good 500 years of history on her childhood home. I'm glad I could catch you, by the way, Devon said, keeping a sharp eye out for other eaters. I wanted to apologize again for how I screwed you over 22 years ago. I truly did think you were just an exciting guest. His face fell, perhaps lost in unhappy memory. And as I said before, don't be sorry. I can't hold a grudge against a child who knew no better and who intended no malice. In any case, you've had your share of suffering from what I've heard of your story. What about your story? She prompted as they reached the second level. How did you get here? What happened in between? A couple of mind-eaters came around the corner chatting in low voices. Mani gave them a respectful nod, and Devon did the same. Neither sibling took any notice of them, carrying on with their animated conversation. When the brothers were gone, Mani said quietly, I was sent north to Ravenscar Manor along with a small clutch of other humans, all shepherded by knights. He paused on the landing to rest for a moment, leaning hard on his stick before reorienting himself down a long, lushly appointed hallway. In those days, Weston still needed human subjects to help synthesize redemption. Devon stopped in her tracks. Come again? Has no one told you yet? Mani cocked his head, gaze shrewd behind the bottle-capped glasses. The patriarch who first developed redemption worked out that mind-eaters must be feeding on some component present in human brains. Because he was a rather clever fellow, he figured out how to isolate the component in chemical form, giving us the drug that we have today. That's incredible, she said, utterly floored. Also, absurdly simple. Why has no one else discovered it? Probably because the other families think like book eaters, while mind eaters have the benefit of a more personal angle on the problem, Mani said. And it simply never occurred to any book eaters to just ask mind eaters. Your fault can be curiously blinkered in that way. No offense. None taken. All that to say, Weston kept me locked away for many years, brought me out only for blood draws and various extraction procedures on my brain. He gestured at his right leg. Weston also had me hobbled to make sure I couldn't run off. That's awful, she said, appalled. Are humans still a part of the process? It sounds hellish. It was unpleasant, he said with the flat neutrality of someone who has become accustomed to trauma. But it ended after 4 years, finally, when Weston cracked a fully artificial process for redemption. Thank the gods, every aspect of the drug is synthesized now with no need for human input. Mani began walking again. Mind you, that meant I no longer had a purpose. Devon trotted after him, feet soundless on the emerald-hued carpets. Why did he keep you alive? That's not rude to ask. It's not. I was well educated with a background in law and media. Weston preserved my life to use me as a proxy for anything that required writing. The one thing he couldn't do himself. I wouldn't say we became friends. That would be impossible, given the power dynamic and what he'd done to me already. But we understood each other. He was a cold man, yet truly brilliant in his way. That's not saying much. Intelligence is easy for book eaters. Rubbish, Mani said reproachfully. Information is not intellect. Computers can contain entire books too, but they're not considered intelligent yet. It is one thing to have a repository of data, and quite another to use it, let alone creatively. Weston could do both. I hadn't thought of it that way. It struck Devon that she did not see herself as particularly intelligent, not when he phrased it like that. Anyway, I was Weston's scribe for 16 years in total, and learned an enormous amount about your species in that time. A self-deprecating smile ghosted his lips. I've been writing a book about the histories of eaters, though God knows whether it will see the light of day, even if Killock were inclined to let me publish. Who could believe anything in it? The next event. One con of the next 4 years. No, from what I know, the events cycle every 2 updates. So that's why like about 4 a year. Because we usually have about 8 updates. So from the information we have, it's basically extra parts of like you have to do specific like dailies or weeklies or something. You do like challenges throughout those two patches to like fill up that event bar until you can claim the con. And then after like 2 updates, you can pick the next one. That's how I understand it. C1 Yoimiya and C1 Tainari. Nice. I'm gonna get C2 Yai, C1 Yoimiya, and then I don't know what else I'm gonna be grabbing. It's an incredible story, Devon said with sincerity. Did you have some kind of arrangement with Killock after he took over? After Killock removed Weston and the other book eaters, I was spared, providing I was willing to accept Killock's leadership. If Mani found such a tenuous existence stressful, it didn't show. Perhaps he had become adept at making himself in a house, at masking himself in a house of predators. Killock does seem to rely on you heavily. I remain useful. Now, Mani conceded, with an undertone that suggested that it might change at any moment. Like all mind eaters, Killock can write, but he still doesn't exist in a legal sense, nor does he have experience of the wider world. I, on the other hand, am an actual citizen of this country, able to make bank accounts and so forth, since I have a personal documentation which he lacks. I also help manage the Ravenscar finances, such as they are, and which he lacks. And I oversee communications with their drug suppliers. Then you'll know the components that go into the drugs, and also where the finished drugs are kept, she said, glancing around. No one was about. This house could easily hold 4 times the Ravenscar's numbers, and it was practically empty with only 15 people in it. Since Killock makes you do the grunt work and keep the records, am I right? Is that information of interest to you, Miss Fairweather? He slowed down again, coming closer. Is there any particular reason, you ask? My son needs it to live. I'm interested in keeping him alive. She met his inquisitive gaze with her own hard-edged stare. I knew the ingredients going into it. Perhaps I'd be able to make it my own. That information is only needful if you don't plan to stay, Mani said, adjusting his glasses. Are you perchance thinking of moving on from Traquair? Aren't you? She returned levelly. I saw your face at the chapel earlier. I can't begin to imagine what 22 years trapped among mind eaters is like for a human. But I doubt it's gotten easier or better since Killock's coup. Crikey, I don't want to stay here, and I'm practically one of them. It hasn't gotten easier. You're right on that account. A note of sourness crept into his voice. But I am also 65, arthritic, diabetic, and have given a cruel injury that makes fast movement difficult. One must be realistic about these things. Devon hooked her thumbs through her belt loops. I'm younger, healthy, fast as hell, and have certain resources at my disposal. Maybe we can help each other. Mani took another step closer, almost shoulder to shoulder. How so, Miss Fairweather? That depends. How much redemption do you keep in store? He smiled. How much do you need? Enough for Kai to live for the rest of his life, ideally, but I'll take whatever you can give me. The ex-journalist folded his hands atop the cane, resting thoughtfully. Fill a large suitcase, and that's 10 years' worth for a single person. I should think. The pills are only small. I can get even more if you are able to wait a few weeks. She couldn't. 10 years' worth will be fine. I need it by tomorrow. Tomorrow? His eyes bugged slightly, composure slipping. Are you leaving so soon? As soon as I've got redemption. And had another chance to talk to Hester, she thought silently. I need to be gone by tomorrow night. Can you help? I believe so, yes. Mani shifted his weight, giving the tired leg a slight rest. I will arrange to conduct an inventory of redemption stores tomorrow. That will allow me to produce They'll procure what you need without arousing suspicion. Any notes you could give me on the ingredients? She pressed. 10 years of medication would buy her plenty of time to figure out the cure if she had the ingredients and process in note form. Mani was no fool, though. Remind me what I'm getting out of it again, he said. So far, I have yet to hear any counter assurances from you, Miss Fairweather. A car ride out of here and an escorted ferry trip to Ireland. Safety and protection the entire way, provided by me. Uh-huh. Ireland. Yes, a good choice. And will we be accompanied by anyone else? Friends of mine, who I trust, and who will be picking us up, Devon said. Maybe Hester. I'm not sure. Hester, eh? I did wonder if she'd... Well, Mani considered a moment, still leaning on his cane. Meet me at the brewery tomorrow evening, he said. 7 p.m. sharp. I will aim to be punctual and expect you to be the same. I'll be there. She held out a hand. Mani shook it briefly. What a lovely reunion it has been, he said pleasantly, as if they'd been discussing the weather. Come along, Miss Fairweather. Your son is waiting. And that's the end of part 27. Very interesting. I still don't really know how to feel about the whole situation going on there. I don't know if the plan to escape is really gonna actually happen. Esther joining them as well is gonna be interesting if she does. It would be cool to see, but I kinda doubt it. It's all going to hell. It has been hell for the past few chapters already. Like, goddamn. I'm gonna read the Witcher book. Have fun with that. It's in Dutch. Okay. If you can read it. All right. Part 27. The princess seeks her prince. We're going back 18 months ago. Then the princess bound up her hair, put on her boots and her coat of 1,000 furs, and stepped out into the silent, snowy darkness. She walked all night by Charlotte Huck, Princess Furba. Right. 8 long months in Camelot, and Devon was finally free to leave. Pitted asphalt rolled past her window, hemmed by pavements flush with pedestrians. A year ago, she'd been thrilled by the sight. The idea now living among them indefinitely made her want to crawl into the nearest sewer grate and never come out. We'll drop you at the station. You can make your way from there. Ramsay steered their Volkswagen people carrier through the lazy Oxford traffic. The first time she'd seen him drive anything other than a motorbike. The amount of cash you're carrying will easily last years. Years? In their months of training, he'd implied that it would only take a few weeks. Are you really going to leave me out there for years? It shouldn't take you that long. 1 year at most. That didn't reassure her at all. Okay. Kai whispered from the seat next to her. Yosemite. Okay, he's speaking like a completely different language. I don't know what you're saying, she told him, for the third time since they'd got into the car. His lower lip quivered, and she sighed. Kai had lived off of the knight's dwindling redemption supplies for 8 months. His mind still that of an infant. There would be no more drugs now, not till Devon found the Raven Scars. To make him travel ready, her son had been fed a human stranger, procured at Ramsay's request. Remember the rules, Ramsay said over one shoulder, as if he hadn't already given her a sheet of those rules to eat. Call in every 14 days, even if you have nothing to report. If you're more than 24 hours late to report, we detonate that device. He steered one-handed through an orange light, gesturing at the messenger's bag heaped in Devon's lap. Call sooner if you find the Raven Scars or the plan changes. Your knight-issued phone and charger are in there. Keep them safe. No contact with other families or human law enforcement. If you do attempt to speak to either, know that we'll withdraw all support. And again, I'll trigger Kai's explosive. Aren't you a model uncle? He supposed he'd learned well from Ike. Thanks. Try. Remember, if you see knights in the city, that's your cue to move to a new location. Any questions? I've got a sudden question. My son doesn't speak English anymore. What am I supposed to do with that? Ramsay rolled his eyes. Read a Polish book, idiot. It's not exactly a difficult barrier for us. It's not about the language. He thinks he's another person. That's very common. The Volkswagen turned sharply into the station, wheels bumping over potholes. Welcome to the life of a mind-eater who doesn't have redemption. Consider yourself lucky that he doesn't think he's Madley. Lucky, she echoed darkly. Sure. If it bothers you, then stop being so bloody squeamish and find him a fresh feed once I drop you off, he said, irritable. I recommend you give him small children when you can. He's less likely to get overwhelmed, and it'll keep the accumulation of memories at bay a little longer. And they're easier to catch too. Jesus, she thought, and felt ill. She wondered if Ramsay had purposefully given Kai an awkward feed so that she'd be forced to hunt someone new. It wouldn't be out of character. Her brother parked in a temporary space, switching the engine off. Don't fuck up. You'll hear from me soon enough. Devon unclipped her seatbelt, popped the door, and stood slowly. The world overwhelmed. Cars clustered like barnacles. The air reeked of car fumes and sweat. People streamed desperately to their various destinations in a choppy tangle. Lives and bodies remote from her own existence, yet so close and tangible. In all of her life, she'd never seen more than a handful of humans, mostly from a distance. Now they were everywhere, meaty, clunky, and loud, stinking of the animals and plants they ate. So many people. Kai clambered out, his hands slipping into hers, clinging at her side. She gave him a cautious squeeze. Perhaps he found this new environment as confusing and dirty as she did. "Get going," Ramsey said, irritable and barely audible from within the Volkswagen. "I can't stay in this bay very long." She gulped a hot lungful of pollution-tainted air. "I don't know how to live out here." "Don't be bloody stupid. You've had months of training. You'll be fine." Ramsey leaned over, yanked the door shut, and started reversing. The last bastion of family familiarity in retreat. However unpleasant that bastion had been. In seconds, he was gone and they were alone. Boy and woman on a patch of black asphalt, each inhuman and lost. Traffic roared to one side, trains lugged on the other. Every breath tasted like of pollution. Nothing Devon had read, eaten, or experienced had prepared her for any of this. Not even Ramsey's training, which had been little more than lectures and printed sheets of paper to while away the hours as his men and sought traces of the Raven scars. Facts and details didn't comprise reality, and his instructions had left her no more prepared for this environment than her fairy tales and left her prepared for marriage. "Bourgeoisie, Devon," Kai said, whimpering. He knew her name at last. "Don't you remember any English?" she asked, wishing for the millionth time that she'd let the nights take him out of her sight. "How about German? I've eaten some German fairy tales. Sprichst du Deutsch?" "Tonya jes mochixialo," he said, large dark eyes welling up. "Powiedz mi Giaco nam to cialo." So much for German then. If only her fairy tale selection had been bigger, that included a bit of Eastern European literature. I am absolutely definitely butchering this Polish, but yeah. "He'll be right," Devon lied, and brushed his tears away with his thumb. An aunt had said that on the day of her first wedding, and that had been a lie too. "We're going to take a trip. A fun journey." His tears didn't stop. He had never been anywhere except Easterbrook Manor or the Knight's compound, and his first feed had been hauntingly traumatic. I was terrified and hurting. How did one soothe a mind-eater child in this distress? Not like she could buy him a lollipop. When he was a baby, she would let him nurse to settle, but he was too old for that now, and her milk had dried up long ago. It struck Devon with painful clarity that she did not know how to be a mother, not to Kai or to anyone else. She was supposed to have left her children already. The sacrosanct role of parenting transitioned over to an entire manor full of aunts. She sailed now in uncharted waters. At the moment, she couldn't even get him to stop crying. Could she buy him a toy or another distraction? Something to read? Take his mind off whatever imbalance he was experiencing? Was that good parenting or bad? Devon decided that good and bad didn't matter in the face of necessity. She sat them both down on the bench outside Oxford Station and rifled through her messenger bag for cash. Sifting through the crumpled bills, she was startled to find not only the money Ramsay had forced her to take, but also her 3 fairy tale books and Jarrow's little Game Boy. Either the Knights hadn't bothered to deprive her of those things, or else they felt it made her full escape look more authentic. "Hey," she said, taking out the Game Boy. "Want to give this a play? A friend of mine gave it to me." I didn't even look at her. Mali Chopnik Snaklar. He wrapped both arms tight around his knees, as he rocked back and forth on the bench. "Nie, jestem teraz malim Choplem." Devon switched the console on, screen brightening. Mario cohered into existence as a series of pixels accompanied by a fanfare of beeping sounds. The landscape depicted a sketchy mimicry of nature. I gave a shuddering hiccup, but his attention perked a little at the sight of the console. He seemed puzzled and curious. Like this. Devon pressed buttons to make Mario move. "The princess has been kidnapped and you're trying to rescue her. This is how you jump. And these things kill you. Look, I've died already on that mushroom." She couldn't keep the chagrin out of her voice. "But you come back when you die and you can keep trying forever until you win." The ultimate fantasy, that. Games offered a dimension where one's mistakes had few, if any, permanent consequences. If only someone could reset the levels of her life, she thought. The changes she'd make, the princess she'd save. Kai clutched the Game Boy awkwardly, fingers too short to hold it well. In biological terms, he was just a little boy. He was a little boy. A little young for such a game. But whichever pool or soul he'd been fed was almost certainly older than 3. "Take away," he mused and began to play. "Good lad." Devon scooped him up. Her son nestled in tight, playing Mario with utmost concentration. And she almost smiled. For all that he spoke a language unknown to her, his memories blended with another soul she'd never met. He still smelled the same. Warm, nutty skin, and that faint sawdust scent to his dark curls. And for all that she had failed to comfort him with words, Devon reminded herself that he still clung to her, still hid himself against her shoulder. Some link between them lingered, despite the psychological confusion of his feeding. It was enough for now. Devon Fairweather walked into a train station for the first time in her 27 years of life. A messenger bag full of stolen cash on one shoulder and Kai monkeyed on her other hip. The senses labored under fresh assault, the smell of moldy plastic and stale luggage, the chatter of people invading the spaces between her ears. A man yakking into his mobile phone walked straight into her, only to rebound in astonishment when she didn't budge. She ignored his swearing. Couldn't he watch where he was going? And kept moving. Buying tickets felt like conducting a complex military operation. If the ticket counter gave her a raised eyebrow for paying with 50 quid notes, so what? She didn't count the change because she didn't yet know how. and bumbled awkwardly around the station until she found the correct platform. The train itself at last. Collapsing into a pair of seats brought some relief. Fewer people were visible, but the cushions were soft. Kai quiescent for the moment. He played on the Game Boy, muttering and exclaiming softly in Polish. Outside her window, the world slid by, the future drawing them down and southward toward first contact on Ramsey's list. South was also where Jaro was, she thought in a daze. Had to contact Jaro without the family knowing. They would help each other. This was her best chance. Possibilities eluded her when she tried to focus on them, and the train's repetitive motion was lulling her into drowsiness. Head against the cold glass of the window, Devon drifted into a tired sleep. They arrived in Reading, a city Devon kept mistakenly pronounced as Reading. She paid for a room in the first hotel they found. Okay, to be fair, the only reason I know this is pronounced Reading instead of reading, because it's written like the word reading, as in what I'm doing right now, like Reading. The only reason I know that it's pronounced Reading is because I actually had a friend from Reading at some point. They were pretty chill. They were pretty cool. You know what, guys, though? Oh my god. I know I said I'm gonna do until like pot 30 and I'm gonna be doing Spyro after this, but I have to say I'm just tired today. We're gonna finish this chapter and then I might just go to sleep, actually. I'm so fucking tired. It's been rough with my sleep for some reason recently. I wake up at like really weird times. But yeah, we're almost done with this. I think I'm actually just gonna end here soon. I just can't today. We did a little bit, which I'm happy about. But yeah, I gotta take care of that. I was even debating and for a bit, like, do I even stream today or not? Because I'm so tired. Do we just skip this Sunday? But I wanted to do just at least a little bit. No. We'll see. We're just gonna finish this up and then we're gonna do Spyro tomorrow. Outside her window, the world slid by, the future, drawing them down and southward, toward her first contact on Ramsey's list. South was also where Jaro was, she thought in a daze. Had to contact Jaro without the family knowing. They would help each other. This was her best chance. Possibilities eluded her when she tried to focus on them, and the train's repetitive motion was lulling her into a drowsiness. Head against the cool glass of the window. They arrived in Reading, a city Devon kept mistakenly pronouncing as Reading. She paid for a room at the first hotel they found, almost right across the street. Afterward, she curled up on a tiny, uncomfortable bed with Kai in her arms. Still tired, despite all the sleep she'd had. There was a lot Ramsey hadn't been able to teach her about the human world, probably because his own exposure was limited. Devon found she was physically superior, as she learned after her first disastrous handshake with a stranger. and she had a mental repository of books far higher than any humans. Her book memory wasn't as useful as she'd hoped, though. She was culturally inadequate and spottily educated. Simple things like the process of buying items from shops or how to make transport she understood, but other things eluded her. Major historical events and current affairs or politics were a bland list of bullet points in her head, divorced from emotional context or investment. The Prime Minister had done what? The Queen snubbed who? Vague and convoluted, all of it. After a whole entire week of being a stranger in a strange land, she finally worked out how to contact Jaro. Cash in hand, Kai sequestered safely in her room. Devon nipped down a video game shop and picked up a copy of Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation. She paid the baffled cashier to write out her phone number as a string of Morse code on a bit of paper, watching carefully to make sure he got it right. Then slipped the fragile scrap of contact inside of the game's case and dipped into a post office. I'm so sorry, but could you write this address out for me? I've injured my hands and need to send this package to Jaro Easterbrook at Gladstone Manor in London. What? No, I don't know the postcode, I'm afraid. The man behind the counter sucked his teeth sullenly, not to be dissuaded. Devon simply repeated her request until he gave in, looked up the postcode and wrote it all down. She put on her best smile and walked slowly through the surging crowds back to her hotel room. The video game was now carrying her phone number all the way to Jaro. Morse code should identify her as the sender, hopefully without tripping anyone else off. Not that she expected anyone to go through Jaro's mail. Better safe than sorry, of course. Then, if he were able, he'd call her, get in touch, reconnect, help her as he'd promised. And maybe, just maybe, she'd be helping him too. Only, whispered a tiny voice in her head as she eased through the revolving doors. It had been more than 3 years since she'd seen him, shuffled away from her by angry Winterfields amidst the chaos that had followed Kai's birth and Matley's furious attack. Since then, anything could have happened. Perhaps Jaro had been sent elsewhere or simply moved on. He had Vic now, after all. That might be enough for him. She believed he'd seek her out if she sent word, and hoped he would, but could not count on it to be certain. Devon decided to give it 3 months, and then reassess. In the meantime, she had some Ravenscars to find. That's the end of part 27. I'm struggling so hard to read this today. What the fuck? Man. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I know it's been a bit shorter today. The last few streams have been a bit weird and short, but like I can just, my sleep has been so fucked. I hope I'll fix it soon, but yeah, I'm gonna try and get some sleep. The book was good. The two parts we read, I guess. It's interesting to get some more like backstory and seeing how Devon got where she is now. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever time it is. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some Spyro. Till then, love you all. Bye bye.